Hi, I'm Jenna,
Hi, I'm Leah.
and we're the Uncensored Sisters. Follow along as we figure out what the hell we're doing. Welcome to
Episode one of Uncensored Sisters. What's up, everyone?
Hey, hey.
Hopefully you have a drink. Maybe you're hearing this in the morning. Get a coffee.
Yeah, get a tea, relax.
Just
get your headphones in.
Yeah.
Put your kids in their rooms with a screen and get yourself a snack, okay?
So this episode, we just want to talk about kind of quarantine and like everything kind of going on in the world. Maybe not everything. That's a lot. But just what's going on with like
how we're feeling about quarantine
and COVID and like
how it's changed us, how we feel.
Yeah. And I think like we were just talking about this, kind of prepping for this episode, but like we both have been on this like roller coaster of emotions. Like I feel one way this week and then the next week I'm like freaking out, or like not freaking out, but you know, I just have different emotions, maybe freaking out a little bit,
freaking
you know,
out, yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, like I don't know, like at the beginning I just remember it was March 16th. Like I remember this day because the governor was like, okay, you can't have groups more than 10 people. And then
really?
And I like call my boss and I'm like, hey, are we allowed to go to the office? And but basically he was just like snarky, and I was like, no, I'm genuinely concerned. Like the governor literally just said like
are we allowed?
And
like,
it was like the CDC. It wasn't even the governor. It was like the big like
I don't remember
disease.
Anything.
It was like right when everything.
Oh,
like
yes.
back
Okay,
in March.
middle of March.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so then I go to the office and like nobody was there. I was like, this is eerie. I don't know what's going on. And then that day we were like sent home and we haven't returned to work since. And so I think at the beginning I was like, what?
Like confused.
Yeah, especially because I had just started that job in January and I was just kind of getting in the groove of it and kind of like getting to work every day and whatever. And then it was like, hey, you're going to just go home and work. And I was like, I don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
I barely know how to do this job. Like,
right.
I don't know how to do this. And then all my roommates were working from home. So it was just, like, a lot to handle in, like, a week.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I was, like, scared of COVID or, like, contracting it or whatever. Like, I didn't really understand that part of it. But I was just,
it was kind of like it hadn't affected you yet.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your job was being affected.
Yeah.
And you were, like, you had to work from home, and that was so confusing. Like, what am I supposed to do here when I'm normally at the office all day? And now I, like, have to work with my roommates.
Yeah, it was just so awkward. So it was, like, the second day of working from home. I decided, I was like, I'm just going to go home for a week. Like, whatever. Mm-hmm. I ended up staying at home for, like, 2 months. And,
oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then, like, there was 1 week, and I went back to, like, get more clothes. Because I was like, I literally packed for a week.
Out of
like,
clothes.
I don't have anything. But I really enjoyed that time at home, and, like, it taught me a lot about, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm valuing my family a lot more than I had, you know, which I'm really thankful for, but that's kind of, like, how I felt at the beginning. I don't know how you felt.
I was, like, super confused at the beginning, too. I was 8 months pregnant, and I just remember at my work, our HR lady had like a secret office at our complex that I worked at. And she was like, I would not be here if I were you. Like, you're pregnant, you could get something and that could hurt your baby. And I was like, what do you mean I could, like, huh? I thought this thing was like only a few people had it.
Right.
And it was coming from people that were coming from China. I had no idea. And she was like, you have some sick time and vacation time. I would just take that and don't work anymore. And I was like, okay. Like, I don't watch the news a lot, so I was kind of like dumbfounded. Just like, huh? What's going on? Okay. And I just didn't work. And then after that, I just stayed home, and then things got progressively worse. And then I was starting to tell people, like, yeah, I'm not working because my boss says it's really bad. Is it really bad? And then things started getting weird. And then, like, the shutdown happened. Mm-hmm. And then right after, as the shutdown happened was when they were saying, like, if you're giving birth in the hospital, you have to do it completely alone. You can't have a partner. You can't have family. No one. And, like, this was my second baby, but that was still terrifying.
Yeah.
Just to think, like, I can't have my partner there.
Right.
I was like, I will have this baby on the side of the road because I'm not going to just go in there by myself. But then, thank goodness, they let just him in. And it was so weird. It was the quietest I think the maternity ward has ever been. Because normally when you have a baby, your whole family comes to the hospital.
Right, like usually your mom's in the room.
Yeah,
like,
there's so many people there, and it's such a celebration, and it's so much fun, and that's what I was super sad about not getting. I was like, that's being taken away from me. But it actually was, like, a blessing in disguise. Like, just looking, I mean, obviously that would have been so nice to have. But right after you have a baby, you're going through a lot of emotions, like, pants don't even fit you.
You
like,
literally just had a human being come at you.
Seriously. So there's a lot of things going on. And it was honestly just so nice to just be me and Colton and our new little baby. Like, it was just quiet. Like, I remember we were, like, deciding what we wanted to have. It was like being on a date, and I had to be in there for like 3 days. It's like a 3-day date. And I hopped up on drugs because I had a C-section. Right. So I was just like, and just because I had a baby, you have like so many happy emotions.
Yeah.
That you feel high anyways.
And it was probably even more because you didn't do a gender reveal. Like, you didn't know what kind of baby.
Yeah.
What the gender was. Yeah. And then sorry, that's so rude.
I know,
it's such, I don't know.
Sorry, Coco.
Sorry,
you're a girl. Yeah. Like, I definitely thought it was going to be a girl, but I also wanted to brace myself if it was a boy because I've heard people have, like, gender depression because they want one and they get the other. And I was like, I would feel so bad if I was like, why aren't you the other gender?
Yeah, well.
So, but yeah, it was like a blessing in disguise, a silver lining. Yeah. For sure. Because we just got to bond with our baby. And I've heard a lot of other moms say that. And so I remember putting that out there on my social media, and I knew a lot of other my friends were pregnant. And so I just remember I wanted to put it out there for them because they were going to be experiencing the same thing, and I know they had the same fears that I did. And I just wanted to, like, put it out there that actually it was okay, and know that you're just going to get this time. Yeah. And the nurses are still incredible. They still take care of you. Like, doctors, nurses, what's up? Yeah, they seriously. Literally take care of you. I don't know, like, if you're a nurse, right, shout out. Because
especially with everything going on.
And because of everything going on, it was like you were more nervous. And they were just the sweetest. And, like, I was supposed to, like, wear a mask every time someone came in the room, but obviously I was, like, nursing and half asleep because they come and check in on you, like, every 4 hours. And they weren't, like, rude about it. They weren't strict about it. Like, they just knew, like, they were just like, hey, are you okay? Do you need more pain meds? Do you need something? Do you need to go to the bathroom? Like, so helpful. So, I mean, yeah, it was definitely just a whirlwind because I was about to have a baby in the middle of the pandemic. So shout out to any moms that did that because you're a rock star. Yeah. It's terrifying, but, gotta look at the silver lining.
Yeah, and she came out, she's healthy, you're healthy. Yeah. Like, there wasn't anything, that went wrong or anything
literally
like that.
The only mess up was that when we were leaving, we should have just left through the maternity ward, and Colton went through the actual, like, emergency room where the COVID was happening, and he was waiting outside, and they were, like, mad, because they were like, you can't wait here, like, people can't be here, and he's like, Mom, we just had a baby, I'm picking them up. It was a hot mess. So, it's okay, though. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like as time has gone on, I've been, like, more like, okay, this is real because it's not gone away. Right. Not that it wasn't real, but, like, this is here, and we, like we're going to have to figure out how to maneuver. Yeah. And literally maneuver through a pandemic. Yeah. Like, I'm not just going to sit at my house anymore. I'm going to start crazy. And I remember thinking, like, that because I had a new baby, I didn't want to go anywhere, especially things started opening up, and I was like, well, I have a new baby, so I'm not going anywhere. Even when you have a new baby anyways, you don't go anywhere.
Yeah, not even added a pandemic.
Yeah. But then I just remember thinking, like, my mental health is deteriorating. I need to get outside. I need to see someone. So then I started just to see family members. And that's when we started to, like, go, like, my parents came into town, and then we decided to go see them after a while, and see my sisters. And, like, I've just realized, like, physical health is, yes, important, but my physical health will deteriorate if my mental health isn't there.
Exactly. Yeah, they go, like, hand in hand.
Yeah.
Which is, it's tricky sometimes, too, because I feel like a lot of times, especially in quarantine, my mental health has tricked me to, like, not take care of my physical health.
Yeah.
You know
and
what I mean?
you feel, like, boxed in, like, you can't go to the gym.
Right. I'm like, I don't want to wear a
mask.
mask at the gym because that's just uncomfortable, and if I don't have to go to the gym, I'm not going to.
Right.
But then I just sit on TikTok for 7 hours, and I'm like, oh my God, like, you literally didn't move today.
Yeah.
Like, get up, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I think once, you know, like, we all felt comfortable, we were like, okay, we did our social distancing, we're all gonna drive and come together. Like, that was one of the best times I've had in a long time. And I finally, and maybe it was just, like...
You mean just all of us coming together?
All of us coming together.
All of the sisters, so there's 5 of us.
Right.
And we all have just been quarantined. And then we just decided, since we've all been doing our part, that we would come together to our parents' house in Colorado, and everyone drive there and meet up and hang out for a few weeks, just to, you know, relieve some stress, hang out with the ones we loved.
Almost, it's like we kind of just took advantage of that situation because, like, one of our sisters lost her job. It was, like, summertime. You know, like, we finally had a chance for all of us to be together, which is so rare.
Yeah, it's very rare.
So it was, like... And, I mean, I was still working, like, half the time.
Yeah.
Like, which was really cool that I could do that, and I'm really thankful for that. But I also wasn't allowed to take off that time. So, I'm not saying that I was choosing, but... I was just really thankful. Highlight of quarantine was, like...
Quarantine. Highlight of 2020.
Yeah.
For sure.
Seriously.
Shout out to the Fab Five.
Yeah. Fab Five, what's up? We should have them on the podcast. But yeah, then it was like everyone, you know, left, kind of went back to their respective states. And then it was like, you know, this whole thing of, like, every day it's like, are we going back to the office? Like, what are we doing? And then
the uncertainty of it all.
Right. And with this pandemic, like, I definitely have learned how I work best, but I also don't necessarily enjoy my job to like a lot of people might enjoy theirs.
Right.
Can you not tell that we are filming a podcast? Or recording? Dad.
Where's Ashton? Do you remember that show?
Yeah, Punked.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, definitely positive that came out of it was, you know, spending more time with our family, really focusing on being with the ones you love, because that's all that matters.
And really knowing your circles, too. I think that has really come out in my life, especially, is like, I know that my family is always going to be there.
Right, yeah.
So it's definitely something positive. Oh, I was just going to say, like, also, we're, like, this is kind of why we're doing this podcast, is, like, this pandemic has just showed us, like, it matters about who cares about you, who you care about, and what you want to do, and that's really it.
Right. Like, we all have one short little life, even though 2020 feels like 27 years.
Can we talk about Tiger King and how that was 5 years ago?
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, seriously. And can something else pop up and be as exciting and thrilling as that? Because that was keeping me up.
Yeah.
And I literally go to bed like, I'm bored. So please, somebody come up with something. What were we talking about?
I forgot. We were just talking about, like...
The Tiger King? Wow.
Like, it really just, like, what we've learned is, like, you just gotta do what you want to do.
You've got to do what you want to do. Which, too, is also why we're rethinking what we want to do with our lives. Like, we already kind of we both played soccer for a really long time. Like, literally our whole lives. And now, once that's over, it's kind of like, what do I like?
Yeah, like, I only thought I was good at one thing my whole life, and now I don't have that, so what the hell am I good at?
Right. So, and now we're just thinking, with the pandemic, it's like, you can only do what really matters to you. Like, that's what you should focus on, because if, you know, there's no toilet paper anymore, like, you know, things can happen and they happen quick, and you could get sick quickly. Someone in your family could get sick quickly. So there's no more time to waste.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah, there's no more time to waste. And it's kind of like, I mean, you and your family are kind of doing this. Like, if you want to do something, you got to do it now.
Yeah, just do it.
You just got to do it.
Because literally the only thing holding you back is your fear. And how you become not afraid of something is by going and, like, trying it.
Right.
If you're still afraid, then you're still afraid.
Right.
And then you know that. And like, tried that. Hated it.
Yep.
Nope. Never again. No thank you.
But then you,
Bye-bye.
like, in those moments, like, that's where you grow the most.
Yeah,
And that's where you learn so much about yourself. But, like, I never realized the moments that I was growing the most until it was, like, I hit rock bottom and I got out of it, thank God. But, like, in that moment, or now looking at it, I'm like, wow, you grew a lot. But then I was like, oh, you grew here, like, 4 years ago. And remember how bad that was? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it almost has to, like, fucking suck.
Yep.
And then you're like, I'm getting myself out of this rut, and I'm doing what I want, and I don't have any fear.
Like that quote that's like, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
I say that a lot while I'm cleaning my house because I'm, like, purging. And, like, it's going to get worse before this looks, like, good at all. But that's literally sometimes how life is. Like, and, too, we were talking about sometimes when you're comfortable, that's when you become complacent. Yeah. And you're like, man, you know, I'll have a drink every night. I don't have to work out today. Right. But, like, if you're living for the moment, you're going to, if you want to drink, you're going to have a drink, and that's okay. Right. And if you want, you're going to work out, and you're going to move your body, and you're going to make sure that every day that you have is, if it was your last one, and the world ended tomorrow, or you couldn't wipe your butt, you would be okay.
Right, you know? Yeah. And I think that's why we kind of wanted to do this challenge thing on every episode, because it's like, if you're not challenging yourself in some capacity, you're not growing. Yeah, like, I really want to take up, like, Taekwondo. I'm not saying I do, but maybe I do.
I was like, awesome.
But, like, I should just do it, and I should challenge.
Try it.
Like, and that's another thing this pandemic has taught us. Like, we have so many resources literally at our fingertips. Yeah. And if we're not taking advantage of those, like, what the hell are we doing? Right. Like, and even with, even just communicating, like, a big thing for this podcast, like, we want to build a community and, like, just find other people who relate to us and just, like, you know, build a little fam. Yeah. But, like, I love that FaceTime is a thing because, like, even our family, like, we never did a family FaceTime. No, but we were like with each other all the time. And we have like a group message. I'm like, what the hell? We have a group message. I know that's so fun. Literally constantly on. Constantly, and, like, I just feel so much more connected, even though I'm not even with them. That's a big thing I've been appreciative of during quarantines. I'm like, I knew that I had, like, resources at my fingertips, but, like, I really feel like I'm taking advantage of them at this point. Right. Because it's like, I can't go anywhere to learn this or to, like, do a Taekwondo class. I don't know if they're happening, but, like, I could probably go on YouTube and it'd probably give me a class, and I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna get at 6 a.m. and, like, do Taekwondo. Right. Why not? I'm in my bedroom, no one's even watching me. Right. You know? Exactly. You just gotta put yourself out there and do it just because you want to do it. Right. Like, I don't know if anyone's read the book Big Magic, but so good. Every person on this planet was made to create something, whether it is paintings, writing, you know, conversations. Like, that's being creative, and that's you know, and that's like what you're supposed to bring to the world. Like, that's what you're contributing. Right. Yeah. In this lifetime. Right. And every single person has one of those. Has that ability, but the author also talks about doing it just for the fact of doing it. Don't think about making money. Don't think about making someone else happy. Don't think about, oh, no one's gonna want to look at this in my house, like, it doesn't go with my decor or something. Like, just do it just for the fact of doing it. Yeah. And that is so freeing. Like, don't have any ties to it, just do it. And put yourself out there and try something new.
And I don't think you'll regret it, because you might not like it, but you will learn something about yourself that you didn't know before.
Exactly. And I think that's like the coolest thing.
Yeah. Yes, you should challenge yourself this week to do one thing that scares you.
Ooh.
And I am going to live in an RV, and that scares me, but I'm like not that scared. The one thing I'm terrified of doing it is that there might be lots of bugs.
Oh, you do have an irrational fear of bugs.
I have an irrational fear of bugs. And we are at my boyfriend's lovely grandmother's cabin, and there's been moths, and she catches them with her
the other
fingers.
night, she literally was just like, bop, and she caught it, and I was like, no fucking way. And it was alive.
And she freed it. She didn't kill it. She was like, oh, I need to save these guys and throw them outside.
Oh my God, when I see a moth, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, like with a swatter. I'm like, get out.
I know. So I'm scared because we're going to be literally camping all the time. And I feel like there's going to be different bugs in different places that I'm not used to. So I'm going to try, and literally killing a bug for me is like huge. If I don't just run away from it and scream, that's normally what I do.
Right.
So if I don't do that,
winning.
kill a bug. So if I can kill a bug or save a moth, probably not going to do that. I'm not at that level yet, but that's like, I want to do something that challenges me, or that I'm afraid of. Doing something that you're afraid of, and maybe it's like something that you're not like really afraid of, but something that's like an everyday thing.
And like tangible. To just,
I'm afraid not to have coffee today. Like, what would happen? Just test it out. Just the waters. What would happen?
Yeah. I think maybe though today was like of the first day that I've just like been like, I'm taking a lunch break and I'm gonna go on a run.
You said you normally don't.
I normally don't, which is like
why
crazy.
do you normally work through your lunch when you have one?
Yeah, I just always like I have a
it's
fear.
Yeah, you do have a fear
of
like
missing a phone call, of like I brought my work phone on that run, which is fine, like whatever. But like even just not having to like be on my computer 9 to 5 because I'm so scared that I'm like not working, even though sometimes I'm like on TikTok and I'm like, oh shit, I should be working, like, you know, but.
So maybe just literally taking a lunch break
just
every
taking
day.
a lunch break. Or
even if it's 30 minutes. And if you're like not that hungry, but you want to get a workout and you have stuff later or whatever, like do the workout like you did today.
Right. And it was fine. Like it literally took less than an hour. I got a shower in.
Yeah.
Like, and then I made my meeting and I was like, sweet, okay.
I'm ready.
Like it really wasn't
as bad
as I thought. And like I did have to come back and like send a quick email, but it took me like 2 minutes and then I went back out.
Yeah.
I think it's just kind of like getting out of your comfort zone.
Okay,
and like one aspect of your life.
Yes.
Today, like getting out of my comfort zone, like I'm gonna leave my computer for an hour and I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll call my manager and he's like, oh, sorry, I'm at lunch. I'm like, yeah, what do you mean you're at lunch? We're allowed to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's so weird being at home too, I bet. You're like, normally
I would go to lunch and I would
go to a lunch, but they would know that you're at lunch.
Yeah.
Now you're like, they don't know that I'm at lunch right now, and I don't really have to tell them I'm going to lunch. So
yeah, so I just feel like I'm going behind their back, kind of.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, but like, that's just, I just have like an anxiety about it. I'm just like, I just can't leave my computer.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just like get out of your comfort zone and like one aspect that it doesn't have to be like,
literally just something simple, like
that's an everyday task that's really tangible to go do.
Yeah.
And then if you like at the end of the week and you're like, I hated that,
right,
then like
then you learn something.
Like,
don't
okay,
like
don't like that. And it wasn't just like that's really out of my comfort zone. And I you know, like sometimes challenges is like
it's just learning about yourself.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's cool to be able to add something to your life if that is what the challenge brings you, but it's also like sometimes you're like, no, that was terrible.
Right. Yeah.
And you can just, I mean, you can literally do it once, and if it's terrible, don't do it. But if you just do it once, maybe try to continue it throughout the week.
Yeah.
And see how it goes.
Yeah. Okay. So, yes. So our recommendation of the week is going to be a song. One of our favorite artists, her name is Tash Sultana. She's amazing at literally every instrument that she plays. It's incredible. If you have not watched her Jungle, it's called Jungle, her live bedroom recording session, it's amazing and you're gonna lose your mind.
Yes. But yeah, literally just any song that she sings, or has produced is amazing. But some of our favorites are Greed, and
Pretty
Jungle,
Lady, Jungle,
Notion.
Yeah. Like, if you go to, like, her
those.
Spotify and, like, look at her popular ones, those are probably ones we'd recommend.
Yeah.
But even, like, going a little further than that, like, we learned a little bit about Tasha's story this week, which, like, when you find something out personal about someone that, like, you love so much and, like, whatever they create, like, then you listen to them again and you're like, oh my god, this is so much better. Like, I just
It's like when you go to a concert, you feel like you learn more about the artist, and then you go and you listen to a song when you're home or on the Uber ride home, and you're like, this was so great.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. Like, you're connecting more, and just learning more about the artist.
Yeah.
So, but what is it that it's called? Her documentary? Or it's not a documentary, it's an interview.
Yeah, it was on Viceland. And a little bit about Tash, too. She's, like, an Australian singer. She's from Aussie. My little Aussie mates.
Whoop, whoop.
And, yeah, she kind of goes in about, like, how she really got invested in, like, learning all these instruments and, like, why she kind of does it like a one-man band. I won't give a spoiler alert because it's a really cool story. And honestly, just, like, really proud of Tash for, like, coming out of that situation. But yeah, all of her music is incredible and highly recommend. So whatever platform you listen to music on, look up Tash Sultana. She's going to be on everything. But yeah, that's our rec of the week. So,
yeah. And then you can also find us doing the challenges, anything coming up about, this podcast or anything on Instagram at uncensored_sisters. And also you can put in there in any of the comments or DM us about what you want to hear, what you think about it.
Or if you have a rec of the week, we'd love to hear what y'all are listening to.
Into that for sure.
Yeah, just any recs you guys have for us, just hit us in the DMs and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.